Picture this. It's July. The AC has been running since 6 a.m. You open your energy bill, $412. Again, now picture something else. A structure that pulls cool air from the earth, circulates it through a living greenhouse, and exhausts the heat out the top without a single dollar of mechanical cooling. In the middle of summer, that is not science fiction. That is the tri-core ecosystem. And today, we are going to take it apart piece by piece. Here is what we are actually looking at. 2 parallel Quonset huts, arched, steel-ribbed, virtually indestructible, flanking a central geodesic dome filled with growing plants. One wing handles your living functions. The other handles your sleeping functions. The dome in the middle handles everything else. Food production, air purification, thermal regulation, and the psychological decompression of walking through a garden every single time you go from one part of your home to the other. Architects call this a Dog-Trot layout. We call it a tri-core ecosystem. And it solves 3 problems that no single traditional home design has ever solved simultaneously. Problem 1, food security. That dome is not decorative. It is a year-round, climate-controlled growing environment embedded in the center of your home. Problem 2, thermal independence. The physics of this layout, specifically the relationship between the dome and the 2 wings, create a passive cooling and heating cycle that can dramatically reduce or eliminate mechanical HVAC dependence. We will show you exactly how. Problem 3, acoustic privacy. The 2 wings are separated by roughly 20 to 30 feet of greenhouse buffer. Sound does not travel through plant mass and open airspace the way it travels through shared walls. Your bedroom wing is genuinely acoustically isolated from your living wing. That's not a coincidence. That's physics. Let's get into it. The Dog-Trot physics. The traditional Dog-Trot house is one of the most thermally intelligent vernacular designs in American architectural history. It is a breezeway between 2 structures. Hot air enters from one side, travels to the open connector, and exits the other, driven by pressure differential, passive ventilation, zero energy input. This design takes that principle and weaponizes it. Here is what happens thermally when you combine a Quonset hut with central geodesic dome. The dome, by virtue of its geometry, accumulates heat. A hemispherical glass or polycarbonate structure traps solar radiation. The air inside the dome becomes warmer than the air in the adjacent wings. Warm air rises. As it rises through the dome, ideally vented at the oculus, the topmost point, it creates a low-pressure zone at the base of the dome. That low-pressure zone pulls air from the Quonset wings. This is the Venturi effect applied to residential architecture. The dome acts as a chimney. The wings act as intake ducts. As long as the temperature differential exists, which, in a glass dome, almost always does, the system pulls air through the home without a single moving part. In summer, if you vent the wings at grade level, low near the ground, you pull the coolest available air from the soil-shaded exterior and draw it through your living and sleeping spaces before exhausting up and out through the dome. In winter, you reverse the logic. You close the low vents. You let the dome heat up. You use that stored solar heat to warm the connecting threshold zones. The wings stay warmer with less mechanical input. Let's be direct. This is not a replacement for a mechanical HVAC system in extreme climates. But studies on passive solar building performance consistently show that well-designed passive systems can reduce heating and cooling loads by 40 to 70%. In a mild to moderate climate, that is the difference between a $400 energy bill and a $60 one. Over 20 years of home ownership, that delta is measured in the tens of thousands of dollars. The dome greenhouse is the engine of this design. Everything else is downstream of it. The living wing, honest math. Wing A, this is your living, dining, and kitchen. Open concept, along with a powder room, a walk-in pantry, and a coat closet. Here's where we get real about Quonset huts and kitchens. A standard residential Quonset hut spans between 20 and 40 feet in width. The most common residential configuration runs 30 feet wide. That gives you roughly 900 square feet in a 30-foot section before you consider the curvature. And the curvature is where builders get surprised. The curved wall is not a design flourish. It is a structural constraint. Your standard factory-built cabinetry. The 36-inch base cabinet with square back panel does not fit cleanly against a curved corrugated steel wall. The gap between the back of the cabinet and the wall creates dead space, condensation risk, and an aesthetically unfinished look that no amount of crown molding fixes. The solution is custom cabinetry, and it carries a cost premium. A standard kitchen outfitting budget for a 400 square foot open concept kitchen runs between $15,000 and $35,000 using semi-custom or custom cabinet lines. In a Quonset application, add 15 to 25% to account for curved wall adaptation, filler panels, and site-specific templating. Call it $18,000 to $44,000 for the kitchen alone, depending on your finishes. That sounds expensive. It is not, relative to what you get, because the Quonset shell itself, before interior finishing, typically runs $25 to $45 per square foot for a turnkey kit, versus $150 to $300 per square foot for traditional stick frame construction. The math still works heavily in the Quonset's favor. You are spending more on finishes and saving massively on structure. Now, the pantry and the coat closet. These are non-negotiable. In an open concept Quonset kitchen, you have limited wall real estate. The curve takes your upper cabinets and makes them awkward. The solution is a dedicated full-height pantry, minimum 6 feet wide, 8 feet deep, with floor-to-ceiling adjustable shelving. This is where your dry goods, appliances, and bulk storage live. It is not a luxury. It is the organizational spine of the kitchen in a curved wall environment. The coat closet serves double duty as your transition airlock between the living wing and the greenhouse connector. When you walk in from outside, muddy boots, wet jacket, gear, you're intercepted by a dedicated storage zone before you touch the living space. This is intentional design. One transition zone, zero chaos. The powder room in wing A is straightforward. One toilet, one vanity sink. Positioned to share a plumbing wall with the kitchen. Standard cost efficiency practice. No tub, no shower. Wing B handles the full bathing program. The Jack and Jill sleeping wing. Efficiency by design. Wing B is where this layout does something that almost no production builder has the discipline to execute correctly. 2 large bedrooms. Each bedroom has its own private half bath. 1 sink, 1 toilet, enclosed within the bedroom footprint. These are not shared. They are not accessible from a hallway. They belong to whoever occupies that bedroom. Between the 2 bedrooms, sharing a wall on each side, is the Jack and Jill wet zone. 1 large walk-in shower, minimum 36 by 60 inches, tiled, with a linear drain. 1 freestanding soaking tub. 1 shared entry from each bedroom, each with its own locking door. Here is why this configuration is architecturally intelligent. The wet zone, shower, and soaking tub is used serially, not simultaneously. 2 people in a home do not typically shower at the exact same moment, and they almost never use a soaking tub concurrently. By sharing this wet zone between 2 bedrooms, you eliminate the need for 2 full bathrooms while preserving the privacy of a dedicated toilet and sink for each occupant. The financial math. A full bathroom costs between $10,000 and $25,000 to build and finish. A half bath costs $5,000 to $12,000. By using 1 shared wet zone instead of 2 full bathrooms, you are saving between $5,000 and $15,000 in construction costs while simultaneously building a larger, more luxurious shared shower and tub than you would have funded in 2 separate full bath configurations. You get better. You spend less. That's not a marketing promise. That's basic arithmetic. Now, the closets. Both bedrooms include oversized walk-in closets, minimum 8 feet by 10 feet each. This is intentional oversizing. In a Quonset building, the end walls are flat. The curved sidewalls create storage dead zones at the floor level near the perimeter. The walk-in closet is positioned strategically at the flat end wall of the wing, using the full-height flat surface for double hang rods, built-in drawers, and shoe shelving. Adjacent to the Jack and Jill wet zone is a linen closet, minimum 24 inches deep, full height, for towels, bedding, and bathroom supplies. 1 linen closet serving both bedrooms, positioned at the shared wet zone wall. Everything needed is within 3 feet of where you need it. This is architecture as logistics. Every square foot is earning its cost. The honest warnings. Here's where we get real. This design is exceptional. It is also not without significant challenges. And anyone who sells you this concept without telling you the following is either uninformed or selling something. Challenge 1, condensation. Steel conducts heat and cold with almost no resistance. In a climate with significant temperature swings, cold nights, warm days, the interior metal surface of a Quonset hut will experience condensation. Warm interior air hits the cold steel shell. Water forms. If not managed properly, that moisture runs down the interior wall, pools at the base, and creates long-term corrosion, mold, and structural degradation. The solution is continuous closed-cell spray foam insulation applied directly to the interior steel surface, minimum 2 inches, ideally 3 to 4 inches in cold climates. This creates a thermal break. It eliminates condensation. It also adds $8 to $14 per square foot to your build cost. On a 1,200 square foot structure, that is $9,600 to $16,800. Budget for it. It is not optional in most climates. Challenge 2, the dome glass. A geodesic dome connector sounds elegant in concept. In execution, it requires either tempered glass or twin-wall polycarbonate panels cut to fit non-standard triangulated frames. Standard flat glass does not fit. Standard glazing contractors do not stock triangulated panels. You are in specialty fabrication territory. Expect to spend between $15,000 and $40,000 on the dome glazing alone, depending on size, glass specification, and local labor rates. If you specify thermally broken frames, which you should for 4-season performance, add another 20%. This is not the cost of the dome structure. This is the cost of the skin. Budget them separately or you will be surprised mid-project. Challenge 3, financing. Let's be direct. Most conventional lenders, the ones writing 30-year mortgages backed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, do not know how to appraise a Quonset hut with a geodesic dome connector. Their appraisal models are built on comparable sales data. There are no comparable sales for a tri-core ecosystem in most zip codes. This means you may find that conventional mortgage products are unavailable for this structure. Your realistic financing options include construction loans with portfolio lenders, smaller banks, and credit unions that hold their own paper, owner financing land deals, or cash builds staged over time. VA loans and USDA rural development loans can sometimes be applied to non-traditional structures, but they require an approved appraiser and a sympathetic lender. Do your financing research before you break ground, not during. These are not deal breakers. They are parameters. Every exceptional design has parameters. Here is what this design actually is when you strip away the technical language. It is 2 protected, highly efficient living chambers flanking a garden. You wake up, walk through plants, make coffee, walk back through plants, and go to sleep. The greenhouse feeds you. The physics cools you. The layout gives you privacy. The steel structure will outlast a wood frame house by 30 to 50 years with minimal maintenance. The tri-core ecosystem, the Double Quonset with the dome greenhouse connector, is not for everyone. It is not trying to be. It is for the person who has looked at a $400 monthly energy bill and decided that is a design failure, not an inevitability. It is for the person who understands that food security is an infrastructure problem, not a grocery store problem. It is for the person who wants acoustic privacy without 4,000 square feet of buffer space. It is for the person who wants to opt out of the traditional grid, not as a philosophical statement, but as an engineering decision. If that is you, this design is the most intelligent use of your build budget that we have ever put in front of this audience. Drop your questions in the comments. The 2 most asked questions from this video will drive the next deep dive. If you want the full floor plan breakdown, dimensions, mechanical rough-in locations, and material specification list, that document is in the description. Build smart and build once.